Hey, this is Ruby D, and make sure you check us out online at www.soultherapyradio.life. Peace and love, everybody. This is Ruby D, the Soul Speaker, and this is Soul Therapy Series. Now, I wanted to go ahead and kind of introduce myself to everyone and introduce everybody to what the Soul Therapy Series is. So, of course, starting with me, I am a full-time entrepreneur, um, and I consider myself a chakra expert. Well, I don't necessarily consider myself that. I've been dubbed that by my peers and clients and people that I've worked with. But and being the chakra expert, little bit of a history. I came across the chakras maybe about 5, maybe 6 years ago. And when I came across the information, I felt like it was something that really resonated with me. So from that point, I really just started studying and reading more about the chakras and how they affect us and our energy body and everything. And once I started to learn more about it and utilize the information that I learned, I noticed a shift. And with this particular shift, my personal life shifted, my professional life shifted. Now, mind you, this is a process that was over time, so it wasn't like it was immediate or anything like that. But from noticing that shift, then that's when the idea of the goddess grind came to me. Pretty much what the goddess grind is, it is a series of 4 books that I've written, and it's kind of like a roadmap of the journey that I've been on with being a goddess and with really working my business. Now, I know sometimes when people think about the terminology grind, when they think about the term grind, then they think about really, really working hard and really, really, team no sleep and going harder and harder. But it's not what it is. To me, the reason I put goddess in front of it is because as a goddess, you realize you have certain powers. You realize you deal with things from a smarter perspective instead of a working harder perspective. So, like for example, me, I'm team sleep all the way. I have to get a full 8 hours of sleep every night. And I have to make sure that I'm fully rested because for me, I get a lot of my ideas, a lot of messages, a lot of, what I should do next, that type of information while I'm asleep. And of course, if I never got enough rest, then those things wouldn't have the opportunity to come to me. So, of course, the goddess grind includes getting ample rest as an entrepreneur because we understand that this rest is very important. And as far as the grind, that does not mean that you have to grind and, work yourself to the bone all of the time. No. Grinding basically is saying if you're going to put in 4 hours today of work, then make the most of that 4 hours. If you're going to do 2 hours, then make the most of that 2 hours. It's not that you are consistently working, you're consistently just pushing yourself because we know it's important that, just like you put in work as a goddess that is grinding, you understand that you have to take care of yourself. There's some personal self-care that's involved. There's some professional self-care that's involved. And you take all of that into consideration. So with the Goddess Grind book series, there's 4 books that are included in the series. And I call them elevations. So with each elevation, I talk about key parts of the Goddess Grind journey. The first elevation focuses on learning about the 7 main chakras, The second elevation focuses on universal law. The third elevation focuses on balancing mind, body, and soul, or holistically. And then the last elevation focuses on the professional chakra system, which is something that I discovered existed on my journey and in the process of writing the books, and how I noticed that there was a shift in, everything that I was doing. So currently at this moment, I'm actually, I just finished the book series. So my main service is what I like to call chakra consultations. With chakra consultations, I have personal and professional, and we pretty much just whatever whatever areas or whatever chakras need balancing at that moment, then those are the areas that we focus on. Those are the areas that we discuss to find out what's really going on, what's really causing the imbalance. And I'm able to make recommendations that are going to get you results as far as how to balance out that particular chakra, what it is that you need to do. And I actually, point out a lot of things that you may not have ever considered. Because one thing that I've learned with the chakras is you may think it's one thing, but once you take that test and we get to talking, then it turns out to be something completely different that you would have never known about, or you probably wouldn't have found out about anytime sooner. So I absolutely love doing those. I actually offer a few different types of consultations to fit, most budgets. With being a speaker, I enjoy talking about the chakras and how it's associated with mental and emotional health or unhealthiness and entrepreneurship, because now we're just getting into the conversation of mental health and mental illness within the melanated community. But a part of it that we don't, or that we really haven't gotten into yet, is entrepreneurship and mental illness. I have to tell people all the time, if you were an employee or personally you were dealing with a mental illness or emotional illness of some sort, just because you start a business or just because you become an entrepreneur doesn't mean that automatically goes away. No, that's still going to affect you to some degree. Most people may not know how, or most people may not be able to make that direct connection, but that's what I'm here for, to explain what that connection is and how your mental or emotional unhealthiness is keeping your business from succeeding. It's keeping you from manifesting the level of success that you desire. And I feel it's very important that we address that particular issue, because if we're going to talk about it, we might as well talk about everything, just really get into it and really talk about what's really going on. So, I love doing speaking events because what I'm going to talk about is completely different from what most people normally talk about. I'm not here to help you shift your mindset. I'm not here to help you brand or market better. I'm not here to empower you. I like to call it a self shift. You have to shift who you are as an individual and get back to who you are authentically before life started happening, before you went through everything that you went through. Of course, you go through everything because that's where you learn your lessons. That's where you find your purpose. And that's where you figure out what it is that you're here to do, what you're meant to be. I mean, why you're here and everything. But I found out that a lot of people, once they figure out what it is that they're meant to do, then they try to pursue that in their hurt. They try to pursue that in their pain. And they run into obstacles. They run into issues. They run into problems. And the reason is, once you figure out what that purpose is, you have to pursue it from who you are authentically. once you've fully accepted who you are, once you've fully forgiven yourself for any mistakes you feel like you've made, once you completely understand who you are, once you fully self-educated yourself on who you are and not what other people have told you you are. But once you figure out that purpose, once you've, gone through these trials and these tribulations in life, then you have to get back to who you authentically are and help people and spread that message and pursue your purpose. So, when I'm speaking, those are the types of things that I like to speak about. Chakra expert, speaker. I talked about being an author. And that's pretty much the gist of what I do. I mean, I have some online courses, I do some one-on-one coaching, but those are not my primary things. The primary things are my book series, my chakra consultations, speaking, and just educating everybody on what the chakras are. So, with knowing who I am and why I am and how I am, now I can get into what the Soul Therapy series is. Soul Therapy is actually an internet radio show that I have with one of my amazing sisters, Miss Tara Jackson. And she'll actually be launching her Sacred Space podcast in January. So definitely, I'll keep you all posted on that. But with Soul Therapy, it's actually an internet radio show that we do every other week. We do it 2 Sundays out of the month where we talk about mental and emotional unhealthiness as it relates to men and women. So I actually started a Facebook Live Soul series. The first one is called Soul Sunday that I do with another sister of mine, Miss Allison Denise, and she'll definitely be launching her own podcast. So I'll keep you all updated on that. But Soul Sunday is almost a year old now, where every Sunday, Allison and I, we talk about topics that range from relationships, entrepreneurship, self-love. We've covered it all. We've talked about quite a bit of things over the past year, and we just keep thinking of stuff to talk about. But another show that's actually a Facebook Live that I have is called Soul to Soul. And pretty much that particular show is where I get male input from a good friend of mine that I met on Facebook. His name is James. But that gives me the opportunity to present content to you all that includes a male perspective. And then a show that me, Tara, and Allison are going to do together. Well, we did a few shows, but we had to take a break, of course, because life happens, but we are bringing it back. But it's called The Soul of Sisterhood. Notice every title has the word soul in it. But The Soul of Sisterhood is basically where we will discuss sisterhood and what sisterhood is, what it looks like, what it means, what it doesn't look like, and, things that we've done to support each other, make sure, all of us are taking care of ourselves, making sure that self-love and self-everything is at the forefront of everything that we do. And then the last one is called Seekers of Solitude, which would be me solo doing this particular show. And it's pretty much how I share with you all how I became best friends with my soul in solitude. So that's where the name Solitude came from. But I feel it's very important that we learn how to spend time with ourselves, and how we learn how to thrive and survive and just get back to our authentic selves, and spending time alone and being in solitude and just being able to effectively communicate with ourselves. So that's pretty much the entire soul therapy series. It's a collection of different shows that I would actually be bringing you with friends of mine, just so we can really start getting into these conversations about what's going on within our community, as far whether it be personal, relationships, family, entrepreneurship. Yeah, it's all important. We all need to discuss it. So I'm definitely looking forward to utilizing this platform as my opportunity to reach out to you all and to share with you all. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this little introduction as I talk a little bit about myself and talk a little bit about my station and what I'll be doing. Make sure you check out my website if you're interested in purchasing any of the books. You can go to www.thegoddessgrind.com. I actually have several formats available. I have paperback, I have ebook, and I have PDF versions of the book, to fit a variety of budgets, because I really feel this information has to be shared and it has to get out. So, hey, by any means necessary, but just make sure you definitely purchase your copies of that, of any of the 4 books. You can read them in order or you can read them out of order. It doesn't really matter. If you're interested in booking a chakra consultation, I do offer a mini consult for, a very reasonable price. So definitely look into that. But also, if you join my email list at www.thegoddessgrind.com, you will get information on how you can take your chakra test for free to find out where you need balancing. So definitely check that out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate you all for taking this time to listen in, to get to know me, to get to know my why and what I do. And I look forward to bringing you the next episode on the Soul Therapy series. Peace. Once again, this is Ruby D, the Soul Speaker. And don't forget, check us out online at www.soultherapyradio.life.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.